Good morning. So today's video will be all about chapter wise most important topics for mathematics CBSE exams class 10, which is being prepared by me, that is Sagnik Anif Sahu. So let us go chapter wise one by one from one chapter to another. Let us look at some of the most important topics. Real numbers. Chapter 1, Real numbers. Prime factorization method, proving of irrationality, and word problems and critical questions based on HCF and LCM. These questions are means the questions will be based on these topics mostly. It is being observed from past 3 to 4 years. Then polynomials. In polynomials, you have relationship between zeros and coefficients of a quadratic polynomial. Mainly the CBSE exam focuses on relationship between zeros and coefficients of a quadratic polynomial. Although in many places, in coaching institutes and all, they teach the relation between zeros and coefficients of a cubic polynomial, of a biquadratic polynomial, but that is only required for your competitive exams and Olympiads. The NTSC exams and all, they might get conducted from this academic session, so it might get required from for those things. But for CBSE exam point of view, you only need to know relationship between zeros and coefficients of a quadratic polynomial. As far as CBSE examinations are concerned, you need not worry about biquadratic, about the cubic polynomial or the biquadratic polynomial. Those things won't be asked in your CBSE exams. Those things might come in your only in your competitive exams. Then finding out the zeros of a polynomial through a graph. Using a graph, you need to find out the zeros of a polynomial using a graph. This thing is mostly ignored by many of the students. This topic, you need to read a graph. Complex questions are asked on this topic. Finding out the zeros of a polynomial through a graph. Not that complex, but sometimes it confuses the students and they lose marks in their examinations. Then case study on different situations relating to height, parabolic paths, etc. This is very important. After you are done with relationship, zeros and coefficients, these are the basic things. But the case study based on different situations relating to height, parabolic paths, etc. Such case studies are given in different reference books. Such case studies need to be practiced. It came case study based on this concept only came in the 2022-23 session in one of the sets in board exams in of CBSE class 10. So this thing must not be ignored. This thing has to be done thoroughly. Case study on different situations relating to height, parabolic paths. Then pair of equations in two variables. In pair of equations in two variables, you are having solving pair of equations using substitution method, solving pair of equations using elimination method. Another method is also there, cross multiplication method. But in the last year, in the last academic session, the cross multiplication method was deleted from the syllabus. So we need to wait till the update of this, till the updated syllabus comes for the 2024-25 academic session. But in the 2022-23 session as well as in the 2023-24 session, the cross multiplication method was deleted from the CBSE syllabus, solving pair of equations. So till the latest update, you are having solving pair of equations using substitution method, and you also have solving pair of equations using elimination method. Then you need to practice a number of word problems from this chapter. You first need to practice all the word problems given in your textbook, then all the word problems given in your exemplar book, and also the word problems given in reference books, mostly in R.D. Sharma. Checking the consistency of a pair of equations and the type of lines formed in graphs for a given pair of equations. Many a times the questions are asked on these things. Checking the consistency of a pair of equations and the types of lines formed in graphs for a given pair of equations. This confuses some students, but once the concept is made clear, then it is not a big problem. Then quadratic equations, word problems. Word problems again play a crucial role in quadratic equations. Many a times they get asked. Many a times the word problems directly get asked from NCERT textbook or R.D. Sharma book, directly get asked from the quadratic equations chapter in 3 mark question or in 5 mark question mostly. Then solution of quadratic equation by using factorization method. First, the middle term splitting of the factorization method using numbers you need to learn. Then you need to move towards more complex questions. Like for example, it would be given in the left hand side, that is m by n x square plus n by m y square or n by m x, in that way also, which I am mentioning, like solving complex equations, quadratic equations to find our x or y in terms of a, b, c, m, n, etc. You complex equations are also there for finding x and y in terms of a, b, c, m, n, etc. Means the question will involve only variables. If you see reference books, you can get idea of such type of complex quadratic equations. You need to find x or y in terms of other variables like a, b, c, m, n, etc. Such questions are tricky actually and quite confusing. Such questions can be easily solved using quadratic formula, which is also in your syllabus. But if it is asked that solve this equation using factorization method, then it becomes quite tricky. Such equations you will find. If you are having queries, then you may ask in the comment section, then I would explain in the comment section with one example. But such complex quadratic equations you can find easily in your reference books. You need to find x or y in terms of a, b, c, m, n, etc. If you come across such questions, better to use quadratic formula. But if it is asked to solve using factorization method, then you are supposed to use. And factorization method in case of such questions become tricky. In case of complex quadratic equations, where only variables are there, you need to find x or y in terms of a, b, and c, or x or y in terms of a, m, and n, etc. In that way. Then 5, arithmetic progressions. In arithmetic progressions is one of the most important chapters. The basics of arithmetic progressions are also going to help in higher level mathematics. So what you need to do for standard 10th level? Practice a variety of word problems and case based questions from this chapter. There is a high possibility that you may get word problems or case based questions from this chapter. Then some proving questions may come where you need to use the basics deeply to get the proof. Those kind of proving questions you will find in your reference books. If not, then if you are unable to get it, then please ask it in the comment section. Then I would explain it in the comment section with one example question. But you need to practice case based questions from this chapter and word problems. Such word problems first you need to do from your NCERT textbook. Many such word problems are given. And in the optional exercise, the optional exercise of NCERT book, sometimes the questions may come from that also, from the optional exercise of NCERT book. And some proving questions may come where you need to use the basics deeply to get the proof. Then coordinate geometry. In coordinate geometry, you must be able to relate distance formula and sectional formula with basic geometry. Then the concept of median and centroid of a triangle. Then triangles. In triangles, you have proof of basic proportionality theorem that has to be learned thoroughly. The definition also. Definition and proof of basic proportionality theorem. Then all the proof based questions given in NCERT and R.D. Sharma book. Those are quite important in triangles chapter. Then introduction to trigonometry. Questions based on basic concepts of ratios and specific angles also, sine, cos, tan, etc. And proving questions using trigonometric identities. Such questions are generally asked in 2 mark questions or 3 mark questions. Rarely you may get it in 5 mark questions also. And rarely in case study also. You may have to apply trigonometry. Some applications of trigonometry. Practice as many long questions and case study from this chapter as possible. Actually, in chapter 9, you need not practice MCQs, but you need to practice long questions and case studies from the chapter 9. Chapter 10, Surface Area and Volumes. Practice only some, not all important word problems from NCERT, RD Sharma and PYQ's previous year questions which are frequently asked in exams. Also, you need to improve your calculation skills for this chapter, surface areas and volumes, and you need to try to visualize and understand the things properly. Then 11, areas related to circles. Chapter 10 and chapter 11 forms essential part of the mensuration section of class 10 mathematics. Areas related to circles, mainly you are going to practice questions mainly on sector and segment of a circle. Then actually I missed one chapter in the middle which I wrote it at the last, that is circles. Questions mainly on proving concepts of figures circumscribing the circle and figures getting circumscribed inside the circle. It is very important. Proof questions you need to solve. Then concepts of figures circumscribing the circle and figures getting circumscribed inside the circle, which is quite important. Then statistics. In statistics, you need to know finding mean, median and mode of a given data and empirical relationship between mean, median and mode of a data. In probability, you need to know about the questions mainly on tossing up of two or three coins. Then throwing a dice or more than one dice. Days, months and years. Questions based on days, months and years. And question based on a given set of numbers, where it becomes quite important to understand the language of the question. In probability also, question, especially in the part of question based on a given set of numbers, you may get keywords like to, from, of, etc. So this was all about today's video. So thank you.